So, the DLCs from Dark Souls 3 I thought were pretty fantastic. I thought they were really neat. Um, and also kind of, you know, sad, little tragic. Um, but, the Slave Knight and the Painter, I very distinctly remember a certain moment that made me pretty sad, if I'm totally honest. So I'm it's probably gonna get brought up in the video. We'll see. But my lord. Here we go.
There are fascinating questions in this video. For example, is Gale kneeling to the statue behind the altar? Who is his merciful goddess of the forlorn? And what is the white-haired woman's dark soul of man? Let's see. The painted world has always been a safe haven. In the Age of the Gods, it was the work of the painter Ariamus, hung in Anor Londo, and home to beings like Priscilla, whose abilities the gods feared. At some point, though, we know that this painting fell, for Father Ariandel restored the painted world, and the cycle of paintings began anew. Of course, there could have been many paintings and painters in between these two worlds of Ariamis and Ariandel, because the residents of this painting clearly understand that eventually their world must burn, lest their painting stagnate and rot. That's a line of thought that only really comes about if they've had generations go through this. And yet, Ariandel decided to eschew.
This fight. Oh my god. It was a cool fight, but oh my god. Michaela painting incoming? Yeah, right? Oh my gosh.
Tradition. He embraced rot, buried the flame, and decided instead to satiate the flame with his blood. And so the next painter had to be tucked away in the depths of the painting, never to paint the next world, never to see flame. Tasked with concealing this secret child of the painting is Wilhelm, loyal knight of Frida, who was the tyrant of Ariandel.
I've seen your kind, time and time again. Every fleeing man must be caught. Every secret must be unearthed. Such is the conceit of the self-proclaimed seeker of truth. But in the end, you lack the stomach for the agony that you'll bring upon yourself.
Frida was the first Ash to enter the painting, yet instead of seeking flame, she embraced the rot along with the good father, and she entrusted Wilhelm with the key to this library.
And as she should have not, because, we came along and fucked everybody's shit up.
And within this place are what seem to be secrets of the painting. As a tyrant, as Frida, you want to hide history, you want to hide origins, and I think this place, this library, is where a lot of that is hidden. Perhaps these books hold the histories of the world.
I would love to read all those books. That would be so cool.
Maybe the destroyed statues hide an important identity, and certainly Wilhelm guards the white-haired child, who is the key to the future of the next world.
Forgive me, my lady. I swore an oath, but I have failed you. Lady Elfrida.
The white-haired woman shares no name, so we call her Aria, in keeping with the tradition of painters named this way.
I believe I feel the scent of ash upon thee. Thou art the one of whom Uncle Gale spoke, the one to show me flame. 'Tis good. I'll head off to paint. I promised Uncle Gale I would.
We've brought so much suffering to this poor girl's life. Oh my god.
Uncle Gale, The Japanese text
Yeah.
actually confirms that she doesn't mean uncle in the literal sense, rather she means uncle in the familiar old man sense. This is important because the parentage of Arya is something worth going into a bit later. But for now, let's
this
tackle
guy.
Gale's
Oh.
curiosities, and he has a ton of them. Gale was once a slave knight,
guys are cool as
which
hell.
was a warrior used as fodder in the bleakest of battles. And perhaps he still is one, because that same description mentions that slave knights were never relieved from duty, despite their twisted bones and blackened skin. And bizarrely, we never actually get a clue as to what a slave knight's duty.
Yeah? What thing? Let me come up here.
Could be, nor what entity they were beholden to for this duty, as it's called. Additionally,
Rachel.
slave knights were clearly downtrodden, yet they were given lavish red armaments, its fine craftsmanship a symbol of honor. So, I think all of
I feel like also, if they are a slave knight, giving them really nice armor is a way of saying like this is our armor and you have to wear it and do what we want you to do. It's like giving a uniform to someone, but it might also be a reminder of like we own you and the only reason why you can have this nice armor is because you're ours, kind of thing.
this serves to make us feel like
Oh,
Gale
no.
is from a long lost time.
This guy.
and
I hate these
one
guys
of
were
the
so
oldest undead in the series. And this is a thought that's reinforced by the miracle that he alone wields. The Way of White Corona is a lost Way of White miracle, a white discus which slices through foes and is so shit that it's no wonder people forgot about it. Long ago, when the imprints left by the gods were still deep,
Oh my god.
miracles of the Way of White
That's
existed
funny.
alongside aureoles. These were the white discs that existed in Dark Souls 1 at the Age of the Gods that appeared in other people's worlds whenever you cast a miracle.
That's funny.
The description goes on to say, those who yearned for the long-lost aureoles fully believed that they would return one day.
Exactly,
You find
lazy.
this Way of White miracle in the Corvian settlement in front of their church altar. And this is an altar that looks stunningly similar to one on the outside in the Cathedral of the Deep, which was a church of the Way of White.
Y'all, the Deacons of the Deep fight was so cool, by the way. I just want to say that was a very unique and fun boss fight. It was stressful, but it was, like, really interesting. I really, really liked it.
And it's this same place where Gale, the ancient, duty-bound knight, says his next curious line of dialogue.
Merciful goddess, mother of the forlorn, who have no place to call their own, please bear witness to our resolve. Fire for Ariandel. Fire for Ariandel. And the ash to kindle flame.
So who is
Did I not beat it on the first try? I thought I did. I'm pretty sure I beat the Deacons of the Deep on the first try. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I feel like I think I did? Or did I not? I don't know. I guess we'd have to go back and look.
The ash to kindle flame.
So who is this merciful goddess? This mother of the forlorn, who Gale still believes is watching over them. Perhaps she's the clue to understanding Gale's motivations? I'll list 3 strong candidates, so let me know which one you think is correct. First, Kaitha, the goddess of tears. I came across this suggestion in the comments of a missing dialogue video, and I love the theory.
2020. Sounds like this could be the mother of the painter, and the way she talks and starts crying leads me to believe she's the statue in the Cathedral of the Deep. I think she's either Velka or Kaitha. I say Kaitha because of her breaking into tears, or she could be someone else completely. She has the same accent as Ariandel. which is why I say she's most likely the mother of the painter. She talks about the child, or she talks about a child. I would actually say it's Keitha, considering that the cathedral is a former Way of White church, and the Way of White now having its home in Karim, and Keitha has a connection to Karim. Velka has roots in Karim as well, but I've always found Velka and Keitha to be very similar yet opposite, if that makes sense. I think there's always been a connection between them. They both claim to be just and good, and yet they both share the same origin and are apparently sinister in nature. Oh, of course, I hadn't thought about Velka and Karim, considering it's home to partners like Oswald. Excuse me. You and I think along the same lines, my friend. The statues in the Cathedral of the Deep portray the same woman with her hands covering her face, as though weeping. In the cleansing chapel at the beginning of the DLC, Slave Knight Gale is seen praying to one such statue behind the deacon's altar, saying, "Ah, merciful goddess, mother of the forlorn." Since Keitha is known to be merciful and the goddess of tears, the weeping statue could possibly be a statue of her. However, the mother of the forlorn fits Velka better because better compared to Keitha, since Velka's influence over the painted world of Ariamis is extensive, and the painted world is well known as a home of the forlorn. Keitha, on the other hand, has zero ties to the painted world or anything forlornish, so the title does not suit her. If the statues are the statues of Velka, why is she weeping? If the statues are the statues of Keitha, then why is she described as the mother of the forlorn? I believe that Keitha and Velka might very well be the same person, since Keitha is also described as a demoness. Keitha's chime description says, "Keitha, the goddess of tears, is known as a compassionate being that is with us in times of tragedy, but some believe she is a demoness that guides us towards misfortune." Both the statues also share a few similarities, such as concealed faces and long curly hair. I'll always believe the girl painted Bloodborne with the dark soul blood. Yeah, I still need to play Bloodborne so badly. Oh my gosh.
Came across this suggestion in the comments of a missing dialogue video, and I love the theory. It drew my attention to the fact that Gale may well be kneeling to the figure behind the altar in the cleansing chapel, which is a statue that's repeated all throughout the Cathedral of the Deep. The woman is clutching her face, almost as if weeping. And this ties in nicely with Keitha, who is the goddess of tears, and who is mentioned in the blue and red tearstone rings as a mourner of loved ones and of the undeserving dead. We don't know too much about her motivations as a goddess, but we know that she was famously worshipped by Morn and his archbishop, both of whom hail from Karim. And that's pretty much everything we know. But additionally, as Stella Elite points out in the comments, the cathedral is a former Way of White church, and the Way of White now has a home in Karim, and Gale is related to the Way of White, so you can see the connections here. But the real question is, can she classify as a merciful goddess, as a mother of the forlorn? Well, followers of Keitha, they provide comfort to the suffering, and a goddess of tears certainly qualifies her to be a merciful mother of the forlorn, don't you think? But the links do stop there, and we've never really had a clue as to Keitha's motivations, and she certainly doesn't have a relationship with anything in the painted world. So our second candidate, Velka, goddess of sin, does have a connection. Instead of a claim through the Way of White, Velka instead is more directly related.
This place, I remember being kind of hellish.
To the painted world. For example, in Dark Souls 1, there was a Black Pardoner set that was found within, and the crows were originally envisioned as servants of Velka in the design works, though it is possible that part of their design had...
No, I think this is a different place than I was thinking. This is the statue that you can go and get like a curse lifted, right? For some moolah, for some souls.
Has changed. But at any rate, Velka certainly has a relationship with the Sable Church, and it makes a degree of sense for Velka to be invested in the opposite of what Frida wants, since Frida was a member of the Sable Church who abandoned the church. There are also destroyed female statues that have loose-fitting robes and one hand outheld, which is quite similar to the statue of Velka in the settlement. So does Velka fit as a merciful goddess, as a mother of the forlorn? I think you could see her that way. Absolving sin is a mercy, and she has a statue for just that tucked away in the undead settlement, for absolving sin. Can you go so far as to call her a mother of the forlorn? That's more of a stretch, but we really know so little about Velka that you can't rule it out. As for the last candidate, Priscilla, she's certainly not quite classified as a goddess, but she's very much a mother figure and is based in the first painted world. As such, she likely wouldn't tie in with Gale's hollow slave duties, but at the very least, we should discuss Priscilla's relationship with the child Arya. Most notably, Arya's scaled skin and her red slitted eyes, like Priscilla's green ones. And this quote:
Those who aren't kin to fire cannot paint a world. Those absorbed by fire must not paint a world. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten, Mother.
Admittedly, there have certainly been a lot of paintings between this one and Ariamis, so like so many other things in this video, it's up to you to decide if we can even guess at Arya's parentage, or the identity of the so-called merciful goddess, mother of the forlorn. So what do you think?
My thanks, Ashen One. I can almost see the flame. Soon, Uncle Gale will bring me the pigment. I wonder if he has found it. The dark soul of man.
The most curious and tantalizing quote at the end of the DLC. I feel like it's only fitting that we end the video in the same way. Similar to how man can usurp the first flame, Arya is also looking to paint the dark soul of man upon her canvas as the pigment, though she doesn't have it just yet.
Yeah, I don't know if if she's gonna be getting that pigment. I'm a little opposed to that, you know. I kind of like being alive.
Gale is out there searching for it. Maybe it's the final piece of his duty. But where does he intend on finding this? What shape does the dark soul of man take? Is it as little as a simple humanity fragment, or as large as a soul of man akin to the soul of Cinder?
Or is it me?
As usual, we're left with more questions than answers, and at the end of the DLC, no less. And From aren't exactly known for making sequential DLCs, since you can purchase these separately, so I have a feeling we're going to be left to figure this out for quite a while to come. So what will the final DLC hold?
Wait, was this video made before the Ringed City came out? Was it? That's what I need to know. Hold on a second. Because if so, 6 years ago it says it came out. Does it say December 12th, 2016? Yeah, March 28th, 2017. Oh no. Oh no, they didn't even know. They didn't even know. Oh, damn. Well, that's sad. With what we know now, I think Gale deserves his own prepare to cry. Yeah, for real. Oh.